All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. It is episode 10. It is pretty incredible to believe that we are now in the double digits. And okay, I'm going to throw this around the horn kind of off the bat for you guys. Who's a number 10 that kind of sticks out to you in the hockey chat? I'm trying to think of a 10 off the bat. Do either of you have a 10 that sticks out?
Mr. Dale Howardchuk, I think
Oh,
I
are
would
you
have to go
kidding
with.
me? I blew it. The
Yeah,
Dale, Sir
the
Howard.
big Dale.
Oh, Luke, that's why you're second, mate. No, that's why you're my co-host. I appreciate you. I just
Got
can't
you.
think of a 10 off the bat. I know a lot of 11s and a lot of 9s, but 10 all of a sudden escaped me for some reason.
Yeah,
But
that might be the only one I know, but nobody
hey,
knows.
nobody knows the rest of them. We'll have to figure that out. And you could drop that in the chat and educate us. We'll have to open the tot line soon now that we're ten episodes in now. Crazy. Well, um, do I just acknowledge that we are recording from the lands of the red threads and the red leaf? And so today, recording day, taking some time to reflect on the tournament and to reflect on both the men's and the women's Olympic tournaments, and then to look ahead is what's on the show. Um, we said it on the last show. Set your alarms. You don't want to miss this one. And my goodness, did this game not disappoint? um, Luke, do you want to give us a bit of an overview? And Elijah and myself, we might just hop in and try to not overtalk you. But could you speak to a bit of how the game went and ended up for all of those in the chat? John Ham prophesied it. Canadian tears. Though I'm gonna give a full disclaimer and get out your bingo card for later. Tears might be on it today because there's a lot of cutting onions and not just tears of sadness, but also tears of connection, I'll call it. So, Luke, over to you.
Yeah, just an unbelievable game, an instant classic. Lived up to all the hype coming in, and kind of that first period started off, and USA they pushed early. Matt Boldy hit the ball hockey move that I've seen Felice hit 1,000 times, and split the D between McCarr and Taves, just two elite defensemen. So it was an unbelievable individual effort on that one to start going.
Big
Um,
high skill play.
yeah, big moment, big goal for Matt Boldy there. But after that, Canada really pushed. The second period was just a masterclass offensively. You saw the Big Mac line go out there and just dominate the US. Um, we had Devon Taves and Cale Makar, they linked up for that tying goal. Just the perfect shot over the blocker. Tied the game at 1. I believe we had a 5-on-3 there for a couple minutes and
Oh,
so
yeah.
many opportunities, and the boys just couldn't convert past Hellebuck. This was really the Connor Hellebuck game. Um, there's a stat out there: goals saved above expected, and it basically takes the shot location, where it's coming from, who's shooting it into effect, and kind of what the weight of that shot is. And by the end of the game, Connor Hellebuck, I believe, saved close to 5 goals above expected in that game. So that game very easily could have been 4-1, 5-1, but he really kept the US in that game. I think those last two periods, there was maybe 30 icings by the US. They were just kind of scrambling around, and that was their only chance to get some relief from the Canadian offense. But we went into that third period tied, and we had the McDavid breakaway. We had the Celebrini breakaway. We had Devon Taves on the doorstep, and Connor Hellebuck just making a jaw-dropping paddle save on the goal line that will be remembered by everybody for years and years to come.
Put it on a
Yeah.
postage stamp. That's what I say. For those
Yeah.
that want to take the time machine, they put Peter Forsberg, the one hand, on a postage stamp back in Sweden. Put
Yeah.
away from the 204 on a postage stamp in America. Back to
Yeah.
you.
Just unreal save. You had the Nathan McKinnon empty net, whole net's open. He hits the side of the net. If he has that shot 99 more times, he's making it 99 times. But
I saw a video today. It was like if Nathan McKinnon tried to miss that shot 100 times in a row, he wouldn't miss if he was trying to.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
yeah,
like
heartbreaker for the Nate dog. Just dogging it out, eh? Like,
feel for the guy.
so hard in that semifinal and
Yeah.
then gets like snake eyes, like snake bitten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel for the guy. He's going to be probably thinking about that one for a long time. But then as the period went on, Canada kept pushing, and in a board battle in the corner, Sam Bennett got his stick up high on Jack Hughes, lost the chiclet, double minor, going to the power play, 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Oh,
Yeah,
my heart was feeling it.
all of Canada on pins and needles. And a couple minutes later, there into the penalty, actually, Jack Hughes hit the Uno reverse and clipped Bo Horvat with the high stick. So then Canada kind of kept possession there and still a bit of time, so they got more time on the power play. So then they had the power play going into overtime and just couldn't convert. And then we got to overtime, 1-1 for the gold medal. And
3-on-3. We might talk about that.
yeah, so started off Canada kind of playing a little individually, kind of trying to go the 1-on-3 rushes. Um, you saw Jordan Bennington make a huge glove save on Quinn Hughes, and after that, I was like, it's gonna happen. The boys are going to go the other way and score after that kind of save. But McDavid goes in on the 1-on-3. Jack Hughes kind of disrupts the play, doesn't get a full shot off, and you see McCarr kind of pinch down, trying to poke that puck to let McDavid free all in front of the net, but doesn't quite get it, and it goes the other way. And Zach Werenski makes a perfect dish over to Jack Hughes, and he seals the deal.
Canadian tears, they got him. Oh,
Yeah,
boys, that was a tough L. Oh my goodness. If I can just give my own little overview, as watching in the man cave back behind here where it's all dark. There's some couches and a big enough TV to make it lively, and watching with a good buddy. And Sonny Boy was playing with another Sonny Boy, and as soon as the puck goes in, I just didn't want to watch. It was one of those things I just had to walk away. And I might have had some other contractual obligations that later that Sunday morning. And so I was just ready to move on with life almost instantly. Whereas those guys had to stay there and stand
yeah,
on the ice and watch the team that they beat. Not even that, like it was like almost a year ago at the Four Nations they did it. And then now United States reverse Uno them on the biggest stage. Oh, it's just tough. As a
heartbreaking.
as a Canadian hockey fan, and as born as a Canadian hockey fan and a Canadian hockey boy, um, I just felt that for the moment and all the feels. And I couldn't watch the medal ceremony. I had to watch it later, and it was one of those things. You could just see the disappointment, right? These guys work so hard and they sacrificed and CBA, like contract bargaining agreement, to get there. And they're finally there after 12 years. And to that moment, working so hard, and the battles, like overtime, 1 goal game against Finland, and then to get there and to just come up so, like, just short. Like, I almost feel like Marky Mark's line in this. applies. Like, I don't know what else they could have done. It was truly a spectacle of goaltending. And I'm dressed in all black. It's kind of the theme. It's mourning a bit for the Canadian hockey fans, but on the other part of it, um, I got some gold and I got some wheat for the audio listeners. There's seeds that are going to be planted from these games that will sprout and grow in a new hockey generation that you can't take away just because Canada didn't get the gold moment. That'll never be taken away from this best on best tournament. And I think we got to look a little bit beyond that of just Canada centric and to look at growing the game. And I don't mean to go on this long monologue here, but it was United States time. It was 46 years to the day of the Miracle on Ice in Lake Placid, where they beat the Soviet Dream Team with Taking You in the Time Machine, Buckle Up, Vladislav Tretiak, Krutov, and company. It was such a good story that they made a movie out of it using Canadian hockey players, I might add, as the actors. Though still such a great story. And now the story is written for those south of the 49th parallel to have their moment. And so, speaking of moments, I think it's just kind of fitting to take a pause to reflect. And I'm glad we didn't do like reaction or a truck cast right after this because I needed time to reflect. And I might have wrote a blog to help me reflect, and that's my strategy to deal with hard things. And so I wanted to go around the horn for you guys. I've done enough talking, but to you, Luke, like when you think on this tournament and everything that we just experienced as hockey fans and in our little group, um, what is like the most memorable moment for you, or moments? Because it's kind of really hard to pick one.
Yeah, I think that Czechia comeback comes to mind.
Mm,
Just being down 3-2 with like 7 minutes to go, and Nick Suzuki just the perfect tip, and just the sigh of relief after Mitch Marner ended it there in overtime
yeah,
that the boys were going on to the semis was definitely a memorable moment for me. And just kind of sharing that moment at work with my coworkers was also pretty special. So
yeah,
um, just the people and the memory at a whole was really special. But also just overall as the tournament, just seeing there's kind of a generation kind of missed best on best there. So just seeing like Celebrini, McDavid, and Crosby all in the same team was pretty special to see, and they all delivered big. And it was tough that Crosby couldn't go there for the gold medal game, but definitely some special moments between those three. You see when Crosby scores his first goal of the tournament, and you see McDavid and Celebrini just with big hugs on the bench beside each other. That was kind of a standout moment to me, but just kind of seeing those three on the same team was pretty special.
yeah, that's pretty special. Not something that hockey fans will soon forget. How about for you, Elijah?
For me, it didn't really come early on in the tournament. I actually had to miss most of it because of school, unfortunately. But for me, it was after the tough loss, seeing the Johnny Gaudreau jersey being carried by
Mm,
the Americans, and then panning over to Johnny Gaudreau's dad, just seeing him in tears. That was unreal.
yeah, yeah, you took it from me, and I'm actually just gonna play off of it, Elijah, because that was my final thought. An onion ring, Olympic ring, and that came into my algorithm when I was writing late at night, and I had kind of looked at the ceremony, and a big moment for me was watching the medals go around the Americans and just imagining that moment. Um, for them, the disappointment from last year, losing the Four Nations, and then now getting their moment. Everybody remained pretty calm, cool, collected, and then you get to Bucky, you get to Connor Hellebuck, and I just remember, like, I think it was they put it around him, and then he like already starts like raising his hands as the crowd is cheering, and I'm just like, this guy has been through the ringer. Um, being up here in the 204 and in Winnipeg proper, and the Jets challenges in the postseason, besides for their one run deep that ran into the lucky Knights, we'll call them. Though this moment in watching as a hockey fan and a fan of the boys in blue and Aviator blue here in Winnipeg, for me, the moment where seeing our star goalie in that moment receive the prize. Because I was talking with a few of my colleagues today, and I said, you have to put Connor Hellebuck on the Mount Rushmore now. He's on there. You think of guys who may not have won a cup, and we'll talk about that more in the Jets wish list, but we're going to stick to the Olympic rings here. You think of guys like Henrik Lundqvist, who got a gold medal in 2006 and went deep on a deep run, and so many years of consistent play. And then you think of other guys like Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh and Dominic Hasek and Carey Price getting to the Stanley Cup and not winning. Uh, Connor Hellebuck's on there now, in my opinion. He has to be. He's got two Vesnas already. He's got a Hart Trophy as a goalie, and now he has Olympic gold. And nobody will ever be able to say Hellebuck is not a winner. He's a winner, and that'll stand the test of time. And he won this game. Like Luke, you said it. It was like 4.9 goals above expected, and like goals against above expected. Canada should have won the game, right? It was this the stat line didn't lie in that regard. Though I heard a great quote, and this is going to like Kelly Rudy, the goalie's allowed to be good. He's a good good goalie, and we're really fortunate. I think we in Winnipeg have maybe not respected his craft because we've gotten used to it, or we just become mundane because we see it night in, night out. And then you see him behind a defense like this, and then go against Canada's best and what he just did 40 saves against that team, what's called one of the greatest teams ever assembled. It's a historic performance that'll never be taken away from him. And Luke, we were looking at this stat line in overtime. I'm going to throw that over to you.
Yeah. So on top of that performance, he actually had the secondary assist on the golden goal. So he wanted to get part of the scoring action too,
Yeah.
even as a goalie. So
Yeah.
pretty
And
unreal game there, and definitely quieted the critics who doubted him in the big game.
And you could say Connor versus Connor. Connor Hellebuck got more assists in the gold medal game than Connor McDavid. That's a tough
Yeah.
one to say as a Canadian. That's really
Yeah.
tough. But Connor v. Connor, he won. He won. And he's
More
a
points
winner
than
for
Cooch at
history.
the Olympics, right?
What's that?
More points than Cooch at the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't know if we can say that. Yeah, the whole topic of Russia, I just like for me, that's kind of another story going to France. I really hope that situation's all just figured out because it is like for those players now to be robbed of the opportunity because of the turmoil. It's just another like it's a bit of a side quest, but I just really hope for France, like that's the next tournament that we're locked into for Olympics for the men's. It'd just be nice if that could be all remedied. Though
Yeah.
the Johnny Hockey story, I just need to get back to that. Um, Elijah, you said about the jersey. The thing that got me as a hockey dad was the kids were a part of the gold medal picture. I saw the TikTok video where Larkin and Werenski, and I wrote about it where Werenski didn't just assist on the golden goal, he assisted in the stands and bring in the Goudreau family in. And there's a lot of players feeling that loss still. Like me being a person that I understand loss, for me to watch that, uh, yeah, it was onions, onions teary-eyed moment because for me, that moment felt like Johnny should be there, right? And the the tragedy that was that crash for him and his brother and for their lives to be cut short in all of nobody expected it. And it's just one of those things like he should have been a good character on that team and he should have been there. And now his teammates keeping his life and memory alive in that moment and to bring Johnny's family in with Noah and Johnny Jr., who it was his second birthday, by the way. Like you can't script this stuff. It was his second birthday. And it's the day that his dad's team, who he was a part of, wins hockey gold. And in his dad's place, he gets to be in the photo. Like you can't script this stuff. This is the stories that for me, um, as a hockey fan, um, yeah, John Hamm, you might have prophesied it with that group, Canadian Tears. You got mine. Because in that moment, I was feeling it all. And it wasn't that I was sad for Canada. I was actually feeling it for the Goudreau family. I was feeling it for those players. And I just feel like it just needed a little bit more. And ah, I I'm almost speechless, guys. Like, and that takes a lot. You guys know me.
Yeah, just a special moment there with the jersey brought out was just a great tribute to him. And just a couple quotes that I heard post game. There's one from Dylan Larkin, and he kind of shared that Johnny put a force field over their net in those final moments. And even though Johnny maybe wasn't the most defensive player, he helped them out there in that moment. And just another one from Guy Gaudreau, Johnny Gaudreau's father. Um, that came out, Johnny Gaudreau, in the summer of 2024. Uh, after in the off season, had called his dad and said, "Dad, when I come home, we really have to push it. I want to make the Olympics." So just hearing that, it's just special that they're able to honor him. And you see at the World Championships as well, when USA won gold, they brought the jersey out as well. So just cool that they can continue his legacy and a legend in hockey forever.
Yeah, yeah, Luke, thanks for sharing that because it's one of those things where like Johnny Hockey is no longer in the physical, but his memory outlives. And that is seed sown in his kids. That'll be seed sown in these players that they will always um live with that love for Johnny because you can see it on that team. And
No, they did that on purpose, bro. They did that on purpose.
I wrote down like a moment that I heard with the carrying around the jersey, even at the Four Nations, and sometimes hockey can get almost silly superstitious, um, where one thing doesn't work and then you just like disregard. And am I known for that? Like I wouldn't say I'm superstitious. I'm maybe a little stitious, though. In this moment, um, I could have seen like, oh, we brought Johnny's jersey to the Four Nations, and yeah, you know what? We'll just leave that. leave that out of the chat for this one, but no, they continued that. They brought it with them to the World Championship where they won, and now Olympic gold. It's
That's
just a
right.
beautiful moment for the sport and for USA to get their flowers and for them to get their gold. It's hey, I remember when I was young in 2002, and I didn't realize that Canada had to wait over 50 years for that golden moment. And now for you American friends, I call you. We want to be more friends than what the leaders are doing. You know, like for American
Oh, that's
friends,
so
and
fun.
hockey unites us. Um, that's the biggest thing out of this spectacle of the Olympics is the symbol of the rings, and I used it as a metaphor in my blog. But it's the rings are actually interconnected. They're all the same size. They're there, and they're connected. The Olympics are meant to connect us, not divide us. And in this moment, especially for Johnny Hockey and the family, I I can't help but feel connected to that in a really beautiful way. Oh, do I lay it on again? Because, fellas, it was another moment in the Olympics that really created a presence, and I had admitted my ignorance with you guys when we did our policy opener, and thinking that you in sledge you could just T-bone somebody and not get a penalty. That's a frozen thought, and we're missing our frozen thought insider Bulgaria, Mr. Bulgaria, but he's actually on the IR right now. If you missed him on this one, we're hoping he'll join us back real soon and get off of that. He's not on long-term IR. We can't use that salary cap space to get a good replacement right now. We're just gonna have to grind it out, fellas. So it's just the three of us, but. Getting back to the feel of the feels of the Olympics. Moment that really created presence for me was the Air Canada commercial with Tyler McGregor. Um, I had brought it up to you, Luke, a little bit, where I said, "Do you know that guy like from your your interconnectedness with Sledge?" Because I said, I don't know if someone's cutting onions, but that commercial has me all in the feels with what his story all entailed in just that short advertisement for Air Canada, and for him to get the plane ticket, he's going to the Olympics, and he's got the C on his jersey. It's just got all the tales of the tape
How you
on
love
that
him?
one.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Luke, we don't have to look forward just for 4 years to France and the French Alps for the puck talk to keep moving for best on best. Could I throw it over to you and then Felice for what's coming up with the sledge puck talk?
Yeah, so coming up March 6th, the Paralympic Games are
Oh,
getting
it's big.
started, and
It's gonna break me.
we'll have the sledge puck talk moving. So excited to dive into that. We definitely highly recommend checking out that Taylor McGregor commercial if you haven't seen it already. But just a great character guy and great leader for Canada to have on the team. But kind of looking into the tournament, the US are kind of the favorite in that one as well. So hopefully Canada can put up a fight there, and there might be some history on the line. I'll let Felice break that one down.
Yeah, so going into this one, USA's won the last four Paralympics since 2010, but in 2006, Canada did win against Norway 3-0. That's our one gold medal we got here. But
That was
yeah,
in Italy, might I add.
it
Yeah,
was. It was. So it's gonna be a big game there. We did go on a pretty long drought with losing to them, but recently we've beat them a couple of times, and this is probably our best chance we've had in years.
With Tyler McGregor leading the charge. Wow.
Yeah.
yeah. I believe 2 years ago Canada won the World Championships, so that was a big deal in the sledge hockey world there. The game was actually on home soil in Calgary, so that was pretty cool. So should be a good battle. the women's, the men's on the U.S. side have won gold. Uh, if the U.S. Paralympic squad does it, it would be the first triple crown in Olympic Paralympic history.
Ooh.
So a lot on the line there. Uh, Hopefully the red and white come out on top.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a little bit too much. I think like the Americans, you have your double gold, and yeah, we'll I usually deal with tough things through humor. So Canada, now it's your time to invest in raw metals and silver. Here's your announcement. With the double silver. To get triple silver though, oh my goodness, that would be something. Though it's just gonna be really fun for me now that I'm more connected in the chat with this Tyler McGregor character. And and yeah, do I keep referencing the plot and the characters? Like that's what makes good stories, and the commercial in itself is something where if you're not going to be able to find it, I mean, I need to paint this picture just really quick. So you have Tyler McGregor where he is in the past looking at his future. And I'm just inferring this, and Luke, if you could correct me if I'm wrong, but just based on the way that the commercial is scheduled, I didn't do the deep dive for this because I was stayed up late writing for the blog. But with this, uh, he had gone through cancer. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
Yeah.
so he lost one of his legs, bone cancer or some kind of cancer was my inference. And so he went through that. He was a hockey player before, and he thought his career was over. Where you would think that when you lose a limb. And so he's standing in the tunnel as a young man in hospital scrubs, and he's looking out onto this ice on crutches on one leg, not to be whatever, that's just the fact. He's on one leg. And I can only imagine just putting myself in that situation that you think it's all over. And then he sees himself in the future on Olympic ice in the red threads with the red leaf with the sea. And the caption is escaping me, but it says like from one broken dream another takes flight, I believe is what it said. And oh wow, was I in the feels on that one. It's an amazing story of resilience and grit. And now being at the pinnacle of the moment for him, um, I'm all in. I'm subscribed. I've hit the notification bell on this one. I'm gonna be fully dialed in. And for me, the commercial was a real powerful moment for me of just like this is this is presence for the sport of sledge that may not get airtime other than when the main show's over. But the fact that this was in the Olympic men's national tournament breaks was just something for me that was really profound. I don't know if you two had the same experience. Send it around the horn.
Yeah, just great representation for the sport and just a great story that you illustrated there from Tyler McGregor, and kind of his resilience in life and being able to represent his country at the highest level. So it's inspiring from him. I know a few years ago he did Skate of Hope, which was kind of a similar rendition of what Terry Fox did, like running across Canada. He
Oh
went
yeah.
around Canada and he would skate in each province and territory. And he came to Winnipeg, so we got to meet him there and skate outside at the Forks with him while he was doing his laps and getting his kilometers in. So, really great guy, and couldn't pick a better guy to represent Canada.
So you've been side by side with Captain Canuck. Wow. That's
Yeah.
cool, boys.
Yeah, just to add to a little more to what Luke was saying, I think it was a marathon or maybe even a little more he was doing in every province. And so me and Luke we play for Team Manitoba for sledge hockey. and so we were kind of like doing the skate with him, or like we are trying to see how long we could keep up. And I believe he was doing this route, which was about a mile long. So we had to do it like 26 times. And our fastest players couldn't keep up to him for half a lap, and he kept the same pace the entire time.
Oh my goodness.
And then later that night, we got to go to a Jets game with him. So
Just chumming with Captain Canuck. Not a big
yeah,
deal. Wow.
he's an unreal guy.
Yeah, like it's one of those things for me what I love about sport and the unity of sport. And I think we're just living in a more conscious world where we don't just say, here's the bar, you have to get over it. Um, we meet people where they're at. And that for me, especially in my practice as a teacher, you have to meet everybody where they're at and grow with people alongside. And for me, these stories of resilience and overcoming barriers and the journey of the challenge. For me, it was a quote that I heard today. It's like, um, the greater the suffering, the sweeter the celebration. And for me, in this moment of just kind of reflecting, and you two both sharing your story with meeting Tyler, pardon me, Mr. McGregor. I don't know him personally. You guys can call him Tyler. You've met him. Um, for me, the moments of the greatest challenges in life, from that come grit and resilience and building of character. And on the other side, when you can celebrate with your team, and that's the biggest thing that I've kind of taken away from this whole Olympics is, and what I love about team sport is that like you're not alone, and it's meant to be done together. The world is meant to come together in these moments of Olympic and Paralympic sport, and it's just one of those experiences that kind of transcends what is the normal. And I don't know if I can speak for you guys, but it's going to be really hard to go back to watching like two NHL teams face off next week. Not to not to throw shade. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, coming up on Wednesday, we got the battle of the bottom of the league with Vancouver and Winnipeg, and it's gonna feel like a preseason game after watching those 2 weeks of best on best. So it's gonna be a tough adjustment, but we'll get back to the regular NHL puck talk soon.
Yeah, yeah, and we also like there's the PWHL takeover tour that's coming in March coming up. Like it's crazy that February is almost over, and I don't know. They always say March in like a lamb, out like a lion, or in like a lion, out like a lamb. We'll see what the weather has for us in Winterpeg here, but yeah, it's the puck talk's always going. Elijah, how are you feeling about going back to regular scheduled programming?
Um, Not excited for it. Honestly, right now all I'm thinking is about is for the sake of the mush that Hellebuck doesn't have any more performances like that for until we make the playoffs again or until next season if we're trying to be good. So hopefully Hellebuck tunes it down a little bit, realize he's playing a novice level again. He doesn't
Oh,
need to be he doesn't need to be that guy right now.
yeah, you know what? But he's a gamer. Like those eyes and warm up, like he's just gonna do it and he's gonna kick it, and he'll always give the boys a chance, even though they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, any final thoughts, rings? I feel like I'm gonna dedicate one of the stories, and I think I got to do a monologue about it right before the PWHL takeover tour. Um, but if we drop the blog in the notes, the story of Katie Taben, I wanna just give a little bit of an overview. Um, when we're talking about inspiring stories and we're talking about overcoming barriers, the story of Katie Taben is really fascinating, and for me was very captivating because she didn't have the traditional path to become an Olympian. She was overlooked as a under 18-year-old. Usually as a teenager in women's hockey, you get selected, earmarked by Hockey Canada to the camps, and then you do the tournament, and then you go from there. You kind of get grafted in, and then you're kind of on the radar, so to speak. But she didn't make the under 18 tournament. She actually graduated in 2020 in the COVID-19 pandemic from Quinnipiac, and kind of decided, like, I guess I'll go home. Hockey is kind of maybe done. And I don't know, from the research I did, she was kind of told from her community to maybe just get a real job. And she became an ice instructor here in the 204 lens in Winnipeg, actually. She's a Winnipeg girl, Winnipeg woman. And so she did that. Then there was still a motor driving within her, and she went over to Toronto and kind of took a shot with the Professional Hockey Federation, the women's precursor to the PWHL, with the Toronto Six, and she was a top scoring defenseman in that league. And then on the side, she was working for Yamaha Motor Canada, and so she's got a motor. She was working hard on the ice, working for Yamaha Motor off the ice, and so her story culminates in becoming a top pair D woman on the Montreal Victoire, who are coming for the PWHL tour. And so with that, she was selected to the women's Olympic team as a rookie at the age of 28. Very inspiring story for any young girl out there. And I'm a hockey girl dad, proudly. And if you get overlooked, never let that stop you, because Katie Taben is the new way, and I think we could really credit the PWHL for making a way for a new presence for women's professional hockey that gives women second chances, where if you don't get earmarked coming out of college and university, you still can work hard and fulfill that dream of being an Olympian. Because I think for men or women, and the women, they've been showing up over and over and over again. That's the pinnacle. And for the men too, they just have had some side quests. But I just felt like I needed to give that a little bit of a shout out. Katie Taben, you're an inspo. I've dropped it in the chat officially on the blog. So anything from you fellas as kind of closing up? Any final Olympic ring thoughts before we close? Is episode 10?
Yeah, just a really cool story there you shared. Just kind of a reminder to never give up on your dreams, and uh, shout out to Katie Taven. So really cool from that. And just overall, my final thought is what a 2 weeks of hockey. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just the gift that kept giving, as we've said over and over again. So it was a special 2 weeks, and can't wait to see it again at the World Cup of Hockey, I guess, in a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we don't have to wait all the way to the French Alps. That's supposed to be coming up in 2028. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
NHL sponsored.
Yeah.
All right, I got a final thought here. I'm surprised we forgot to mention this story completely with Brock Nelson. He has so in the year 1960, Bill Christian won gold with Team USA, who is Brock Nelson's grandfather, and in 1980, Dave Christian, Miracle on Ice team, also won gold.
What?
So, and that's his uncle. So grandfather, uncle, and now he completed the third generation.
Wow.
What a bloodline.
I saw a reel saying now his son just has to win in the year 2046 to complete the fourth. So
No pressure.
no pressure.
That's unreal.
Yeah. Apparently he called his uncle. He called his
Oh.
uncle after the game, and it was like, 46 years to the day, huh?
That is unreal. Stick taps to you on that one. I appreciate you. That's a fun one.
Mhm.
And like I I don't want to close this talk, but at some point we got to go to bed. And so for for me and Elijah on that one, it's just shows that like hockey and the generations that for me that's the big bingo card stamper for me today is that hockey is a generational gift. And whether it's been 12 years too long, but now we're here. And I think we got the volatility figured out from the professional men's league. The women know how to do it. But I think we have that to look forward to now. And we have a blueprint also with a World Cup coming up. And you have the generations of girls now to look up to people like Katie Tapen and her inspiring story. And then you have the generation, the the heart jerker, tear jerker, whatever you want to say, with the Goudreau children, with Noah and Johnny Jr. And I can't help but say, with the Hughes brothers, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, and then Brady Tkachuk, and as much to my chagrin, Matthew Tkachuk and his mouth guard, but the generations where the passing down of the flame, in this case, the Olympic flame and the spirit of the games. Though hockey as a movement now, and hockey as the story, and the hockey as the gift that keeps on giving. It's you just hit it out of the park, Elijah. It's generational. And so if that's one thing that I think we could all really um, focus on going forward is that, you know what, this isn't just for us. This is for generations to come. And the seeds have been planted, and I I can't wait to see what comes up next. And yeah, on on that note, the puck talk keeps moving. Hey, fellas.
Keeping it moving.
All right. Well, from all of us at 32 Tots, thank you for tuning in. It was an absolute pleasure to go through that with you two gentlemen both on the screen and all of you listeners tuning in. Can't wait to see what comes up. We're 10 episodes deep, and as always, the sports policy is always fun here. So stay tuned.